Hello, everybody. You are welcome to the next episode of the African Composers Interview. Thank you very much for your support and for your interest. I thank our guest composer of today, who is joining us from Nigeria. I will invite him to introduce himself shortly, but before I do, I would like to thank everybody, anyone who will watch this interview live and anybody who will watch it as a recorded interview. Thank you very much for your interest and your time and your support. Brilliant. So, to our guest composer of today, thank you very much for joining us. Please introduce yourself. Can you please introduce yourself to us? Sorry, you didn't catch that. Please introduce yourself. Thank you.
All right. My name is Jude Nnam. I hail from Amechi, Okonano, in Enugu South of Enugu State. I grew up in Enugu and had my primary education in Enugu, Niger Close Primary School, and my secondary education was in Boyd Secondary School, Umwense, Okonano, in Enugu State. I grew up as a young boy very close to the church because I lost my dad at the age of 7. And my mom was very busy trying to make sure we had something to eat. And there was nobody there to take care of us. And I was lucky I found myself in the church. So at an early age, I found myself always going to the church. Immediately after school, I'd run down to the church. My first dream was to be a priest because I've always found myself around the altar as an altar server. I've been in various societies in the church, the Legion of Mary, the Public Society, the St. Jude, St. Anthony, various societies, and at quite an early stage. But at the age of 9, I joined a group that I have never left to today, and that is the choir. And I found myself in the choir out of excitement. I love singing at Mass when the choir sings. I used to feel a kind of magnet drawing me to join and sing with the choir. And so I wanted to attend the rehearsal one day, and they threw me out. They asked me to wait till I come of age before I joined them. In those days we hadn't this children choir kind of setting. So you must be of age before you join the choir. So somehow, after one particular incident, I was allowed to join the choir. When I saved the choir from an embarrassment in the church. So I was then allowed to join. That was how I joined my choir at St. Paul's Catholic Church up in North. But then it was nothing very serious happened music-wise until I went to secondary school. So I was lucky to have a teacher, a music teacher, that doubled as not just my music teacher, but my mentor. He was everything for me then. He was there as my father. He was there as my music teacher. He was there as and also a teacher of other subjects. He helped me close and guided me and made sure I didn't stray, make mistakes. And so I took him as my father, Mr. Matthew Onyamo. God bless him. He's still alive. An old man, but he's still alive, strong. And there I was able to learn how to play the keyboard. Secondary school. It was there that I developed the talent to write songs. And at the age of 15, I wrote my very first song at the age of 15. And that's O Chineke Bara Meberina Onimwanido. It's a very popular tune. And 2 years later, I was able to write another, and song Ibu Onye Nwere Chineke na lezie m anya Chukwu mekwela ụwa merie m. And with the success of these two songs, I was encouraged to begin to write more. And so I wrote so many songs. At the age of, when I was through with secondary school, I tried moving into the university. It wasn't easy. I sat for JAM 5 times. And 5 times I was offered admission. And 5 times there was nobody to train me. So I lost those opportunities 5 times.
So just to explain, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, just to explain to the audience, the JAM exam is the Joint Admissions Matriculation Board exam. It's a very well-known exam in Nigeria that students take in order to go from secondary school to university. It's not the only pathway, but he said he took the exam 5 times. And I think you said there was nobody to train you. I think that means there was no funding. Is that what you mean?
Remember, I told you my father died when I was 7 years. And well, I had brothers, my elder brothers, who were there, told me, sorry, there was nothing they could do. And there was nothing I could do myself. I tried the first time, second time, third time, and each time I had this admission. I'll take the admission letter to them and say sorry. So on the 6th time, I had admission again. I was offered admission the 6th time. And I took this letter to the Blessed Sacrament. I went to church. I placed it before God and said, sorry, God, sorry, I am here. I've come again. If you really want me to go to school, it's in your hand. And from that very moment, when I left the Blessed Sacrament, I went straight to choir rehearsal. And my friends in the choir discovered I was not happy and was asking me what the problem was. I explained myself. There on the spot, they raised money for me, in which I used to move to school the very next day and register. That was how I actually went to the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. I got myself registered at the music department. So I did my diploma in music education, the first degree through direct entry. Then that is it. Today I'm already through my master's and did my PhD in music. At this time at University of Nigeria. So that's my career in music.
Wow, thank you very much for that introduction. Thank you very much. That's quite an interesting history and very moving stories, talking about your father passing away when you were very young, and how you could not start your university education even after passing JAM. Anybody who is watching this, who is not a Nigerian, who doesn't know about JAMB, the JAMB exam is notorious. It's known as an exam that is very difficult to pass. And for you to have passed it 6 times. So well done. And congratulations having friends who helped you in the choir. Can you just take us back to the serious, embarrassing incident that you saved your first choir from? Can you tell us about that? What happened?
What? You said?
Can you tell us about the embarrassing incident? You said you saved your choir. Can you tell us about it?
All right, then. What happened was that I came in to join the choir, and one particular lady was so interested in pushing me out. She told me that the choir was meant for adults and I should wait. So what I did was, instead of going home, I waited at the doorstep of the choir rehearsal ground and sat down there. There was a seminarian who was about leaving, and he was teaching them a song. So all the earth proclaimed the Lord. And he taught them, and they learned it. It was on a Saturday. So the very next day, on Sunday, the choir master decided to surprise the seminarian, since that was her last Sunday in the parish. So he asked the choir to sing the song to make him happy. So he introduced the song, and the choir went haywire. Sopranos went one way, the altos went another way. Tenors were on their own, and people could not find it. So there was confusion at mass. The congregation started laughing at the choir. For that, people were screaming. So the choir master was so embarrassed and told them later at mass that they must sing this song again next Sunday, whether they like it or not. So 2 days later, on Tuesday, the very next rehearsal, I came and sat down at that gate. They were coming in, they were filing in. So when they came in, the choir master was very furious about what happened 2 days ago and asked them to begin the song. This was the time of the tuning fork, actually. We had no keyboard, no piano, nothing to keep the choir in. And so he just hit the fork on his head, put it close to his ear, and you hear one sound, one single sound. You will now translate those sounds to the key. So unfortunately for him, he himself had forgotten the song. So he was cueing the choir in wrongly. That was actually what happened in the church. So he gave them a wrong tune. So the sopranos could not get their own, no part could remember. But sopranos attempted theirs. And from where I was outside, I screamed, "No, it's not true. That was not what seminary taught you." So the woman ran out again, and before she could come out, I had gone far. Immediately she went back, came back to my spot. Then one elderly man in the choir now came to me and asked me quietly, "Can you remember that part?" And I said, "Yes." And he held my hand and brought me inside and asked them not to bother me. "Let's listen to this part." And I sang, "All the earth proclaim the Lord, sing your praise to God." And all of them screamed and say, "Yes, that is true. That's exactly what."
Oh, that's good.
That was after me was in alto. Then she came to me and said, "Can you remember our own part?" I sang their part. The tenors requested, I gave them their own. The basis asked, I gave them their own. And when they sang them all together, everything was everything harmonized. So the man now had told them no, that nobody should bother me anymore. That from today I will be part of them. What
Fantastic.
actually happened? On my way home from that rehearsal on Saturday, I sang the whole part. I sang them as if they were one song. As I was sing soprano, move to alto, move to tenor, go to bass, start all over again as I was running. All the air proclaim the Lord, sing your praise to God. All the air proclaim the Lord, sing your praise to God. All the air proclaim the Lord, sing your praise to God. All the air proclaim the Lord, sing your praise to God. And I'll start all over again. That was what I was until I got home. So the whole thing was already. And after that incident, I was allowed to be. That was how I joined the choir permanently today.
Till today, wow, that is a fascinating story. Well done. You know, it's now made it clear to me what you meant. You know that young boy on the internet that was filmed singing your songs. I don't know if you remember him some weeks ago. That young
Yes,
boy in Nigeria. I think you said he reminds
yes,
you of yourself when you started.
yes, because I heard that he's just 9. And for me, it just reminded me of my age and things children can do at that time. You know, that time the mind is magnetic. If properly handled, you know, the boy can do wonders. And that's why I actually believe that if given the opportunity, we can help you become what you want.
Okay. Well done on building a successful career. Why do they
Thank
call
you.
you Ancestor? Can you tell us why they call you Ancestor?
Oh well, um, it was a name I fought against to stop, but I couldn't stop it. In my university days, I was given so many names derived from my surname. My surname is Nnam. Nnam means my father. Nnam, my father, the Igbo. And so my friends chose to call me anything they like in those days. Some would say, call me Nana. Some would call me Nochie, which is grandfather. But some would call me Nna, Nna Mhabunine, Nnowanine, as the father of the whole world. Because of the way I relate with them. Most of them, when they have problems, they come to me. I don't know, but if I actually advise them, they follow what I ask them to do, it worked out. So they now saw me as an elderly person, an old man, and they started calling me Nochi. And then one day, my friend Chike Uchebu, of blessed memory, just came into the classroom and saw me and screamed, Ancestor, you know. And jokingly, and people say, yeah, ancestor, ancestor, and that clicked. I didn't like the name ancestor. So the next day, I went to the class, to the blackboard, and wrote that nobody should call me ancestor again, that I don't like it. I didn't know I was looking for trouble. From that day, nobody. You know, students, what they can do. Those try to make you annoyed to call you anything. And till today, I have stuck.
Okay.
So
All right.
that's how.
Okay, just to tell the audience, when you see his compositions on his sheet music, you will usually see the name Ancestor written on his music, just to let everybody know in case you are somehow not aware of our guest composer of today.
Yes, for now, we have become my stage name. My
Stage name,
stage
yes,
name.
yes.
That's what I use.
is very interesting. You said your first composition was O Chineke Bahara. What were you thinking about? Because as a young person, it's a very interesting composition for a young person to compose. It's like it's a song asking for mercy at that age. What were you thinking about? Why?
I told you that I actually was very close to the altar as a boy. And that day, the preaching was all about repentance in the church. And I heard the priest say so many things about people turning back to God. And that same evening, when I came back home, I actually, before that very song, I've written over 20 something other songs that didn't make sense to me. So this very one was the one that came, the first, what we call hit, the first hit, the one that actually came out and became very popular. And after writing the song, I gave it to my choir master to teach the choir. I was there also to help. So it was all about repentance, and I wanted to share my own my own feelings too. Yeah. Just like the second song, Songibu Onye Nwere. Songibu Onye Nwere means you are all I have. That song came out because I had no friend as a growing up. As I was growing up, I had no friend, very close friend, because most of my mates never wanted to associate with me. The reason was because as a young boy, I was too truthful for their liking. You know, this peer group, if they commit an offense and I happens to be there, then people must hear it. I was taught in the church not to lie. So I was practicing it to the letter. So in our compound, if anybody commits anything, the parents or people around will want to know whether Chika was there. Once they say that, they will call me to come and state how it happened, and anything I say, they accept it. Because of that, nobody wanted to associate with all the boys. If we go to play football and I happen to be chosen by a group, then the other group, the group that chose me, was sure to lose that match. Yes, because I don't know how, I never knew how to play football.
Okay.
Certain points I will kick the ball opposite. So nobody wanted to accept me. So it was a big problem for myself, and I didn't know how to handle it. So I was always on my own, and the best place and my best area, and where I have always found comfort, had been in the church. So I would simply go to the church. So when I was writing, I was actually talking about myself. So give onye Chineke na lezie anya, please God, take care of your child. Chukwu mekwena ụwa merie m. My God, do not allow this war to win over. It was actually a song I wrote for myself.
Okay. Wow, that's really moving. Can you tell us how many compositions you have written in total? Do you know?
I don't know. There are too many. The reason is that before I never thought of collecting my works. I used to write and drop, write and give to people. Because I started traveling at a very early age. When I was in secondary school, parishes used to come to our school and sign me out for weekend from the principal or from the music teacher. They will sign me out to come and teach, train their choir, and bring me back on Sunday evening. So in some of these places, I write and leave the original with them. And because I may never go back to that place again. And sometimes some will promise to bring them back to me, and they never did. So in cases like that, I lost so many compositions. There was an incident that happened in Lagos. I was in Falomo. I went for a wedding in Falomo, such of Assumption, Lagos, and the choir was singing a song that I became interested in. I was downstairs. At the end of the mass, I went upstairs to meet the choir. I met the choir master and requested for a copy of that song. He looked at me and said, that is your composition. I said,
oh my goodness.
I didn't know what to do, but I need to say something. I needed to say something immediately. So I told him, I know, but I wanted to see actually if the copy you have is clearer than the one I had. Because and the ones I had with me were very fair. And so he said, okay. He went and brought a copy and gave it to me. And I looked at the top of it, I saw Jude Nnam.
Sorry.
I was glad to recover that. So you can see it's as bad as that. So even till today, some people have been sending me some. I've set up a group that my social media friends who have been trying to recover songs from different places. I actually don't know. But the ones I have with me, the copies I have, they are over 2,000.
Over 2,000 unique pieces of works, copies. And those are the ones you know, not the minus the ones you don't know. Fantastic.
Yes.
Well done. Well done. That I've heard that there are some people who compose and who put your name on their works because I don't know, respect or trying to promote their works. I don't know why they do that. How do you feel about that?
They write their songs and then put my name on. Yes, I have met about 2 or 3 songs like that. But I always go out to tell whoever is interested to hear that those songs are not mine. Yes, because some people actually send me messages and say, please, can please send me a copy of this song, this your song. And when I look at the title, I know the title of most of my songs. When I look at the title, I will know that this song does not belong to me. And I'll just simply send back the message and say, sorry, I don't have this copy because I am not right. So it's really, I don't know why they do those things. I don't know why you have to write a song and you put some other person's name on it. Because by so doing, you lose your identity. You lose your identity. It is important, no matter how bad you think your work is, there may be 1 or 2 persons who will still admire it, who may see something good in it. So it's always good to be proud of what you have written. Be proud of your own identity. And make sure your name is on your work. It's intellectual property. You own it. So that tomorrow, if anybody comes to work, if you go to tell people that it is not your work, they will not believe you. I had a problem like that. There was a competition that was organized by Amamosu. Amamosu is a group in Abuja. Okay. So they organized Abuja Metropolitan something for her. So they organized a competition, composition competition on Abuja City, a kind of anthem, and asked people to make entries. I wrote 2 entries. I composed 2 songs, 2 very different songs for that anthem, and sent those 2 songs using some other person's name because I didn't want them to know that I wrote the song.
I see.
Okay, and my main reason also is that some churches maybe used to be biased just by seeing your name.
The name, yes. You didn't want to influence them. You wanted them to judge you fairly. Okay.
So once they see and something written by you, automatically they already have a bias. So because of that, I sent 2 songs using some of the pseudonym. And when the final result came out, those 2 songs came first and second. One came as first, second one came as second.
All right, so undisputed.
And so when we were discussing and in a social media, as I proudly, because I was so happy because the song came first, I proudly told them, well, I actually wrote this song. Most of the people didn't believe me. They said, well, if it is your work, why didn't you put your name there? And they were right. Do you understand?
Yes.
They were right to look at properly. So one should be proud of whatever it is. So later on, actually, I was able to convince some people that I actually wrote the song. And when they looked at it closely, they said, that the way it's sounding, those who knows my style of music will always believe that it's either Jude Nnam wrote this song, or he was around where it was being or he had made an. I have my own particular style of musical writing, and those who know me properly can always identify anywhere, even without my name on top of it. They will know.
Okay, just to let everybody know, Amemuso stands for Abuja Metropolitan Music Society. So that is the competition our guest took part in. You talked about your style. Let's look at that subject. I have heard at least one person, in fact, more than one, I think 2. Yeah, one online and one who talked to me over the phone. So one was a comment online, and one was somebody who called me to talk about, different things, including your music. The 2 of them said, you don't change style. So I don't know how you feel about those kinds of comments. They said his music is the same. I'm not trained, so I cannot tell you what they said, the technical details. I'm not musically trained, sorry. They were talking about something like 4x4, the beats, this and that is all the same. What do you have to say about things like that? Does it matter? And do you agree that your style does not change?
So, what's your final question? What do you ask?
Yeah. Do you agree? What do you have to say about things like that? People who say that your style is the same, it doesn't vary, you don't change your style, you just repeat the same thing. What do you have to say about that?
Thank you. Actually, my musical style is my identity. And if you create an identity for yourself, you'll be stupid to begin to change from here to another. I have actually created a musical identity, a particular style that I can be identified with. And people who love my music will always identify with it. there are various, music is so vast and there are various styles in music. But you need to know what you want. Actually, what actually is my style? My style is simplicity in writing. Simplicity. My supervisor, after looking at my composition during my master's program, analyzed it and said, Jude, I like this style. It is simplicity in complexity. And I asked him why, and he said, Dr. Adogu, was my supervisor and my HOD during my master's at UNM. And he said that whenever he looks at my composition, the melodies stand still as simple. Then when you move to alto and the tenor and basses, that is where the wave comes in. That's when one begins to feel, this guy actually studied music, because I will use various styles of harmony. I will use the hymnal arrangement. I can move into contrapuntal arrangement. I can use call and response. I can use it. I mix them all in same music. But the melody will stand still. Why? Because the melody actually is always the ones I write for the congregation. I write for the church. I am not an entertainer. I am a liturgical music composer. And people should take note of that. I do not write to entertain. And so if I write to entertain, then you should expect all those kind of things. That I write for worship. And not just worship, liturgical worship. And so it is important that my composition should be able to carry the spirit of the people and not distract the spirit. There are some styles of composition that distract the spirit. There are some styles of composition that gels the mind. But when you are actually writing for liturgical worship, it should be songs that are simple, so that the old mama in the village should be able to follow. I do not write for the elite, the educated ones. I write bearing in mind that in this church, worshiping together, there might be very old people who never went to school. What kind of song will they be able to do it immediately and be able to worship God? This has always been my guide. And that's why my song has remained simple.
Okay. So your works are simple and you have a target audience, but you compose in different languages. You've composed in so many languages. I don't think I can even keep track of how many you've composed in. What makes you select a particular language to compose for? What drives you to pick a language and compose in that language?
The first language I composed, apart from Igbo, my language, and English, happens to be Hausa language. And my first composition, Hausa composition, was Ya Obangiji Kahimarajika. I had to write some of these things out of challenges. Yes. So if I happen to be in a place where there is need to write a song for them in their own language, I'll feel compelled to do that. So I will always write that. And generally, when I travel to places, I always like to leave a song in their dialect for them. If I move to Igala, I will write. Just like when I wrote in Igala, I wrote Ujimache Ojoki Data. I had to write that in Igala for the bishop because of the competition. Sorry, the ordination. There was an ordination of about 10 priests. It was the celebration of the diocese 25th silver jubilee. And the bishop asked me to please give them a gift of one song in Igala, no matter as part of the mass, that should be a gift for them before leaving. So for that, instead of giving them one, I wrote 4. So I wrote Kyrie, Gloria, Sanctus, and Agnus Dei. I wrote that, and the choir performed the 4 of them during that silver jubilee before leaving. And I wrote the whole. I came on Wednesday. It was Wednesday. The ordination was on Saturday. So I met the bishop on Wednesday on arrival, and he made that request. So between Thursday and Friday, I wrote the whole of them, taught the choir the whole of them, and we performed it on Saturday, and I left on Sunday.
What? I'm sorry. Sorry, between Wednesday and Saturday, you had written 4 works and you taught the choir and they performed the 4.
Yes, what? After speaking with the bishop on Wednesday, I came in, I wrote 1 on Wednesday, taught the choir. The next day was Thursday, I wrote 2, and went there, finished it. The next day was Friday, I wrote another 1, and then taught the choir and rehearsed the songs for the program, and then performed it on Saturday and left on Sunday.
That's serious. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. That is serious. I'm not trying to blow this thing up. I've sung in a choir where we have sung Ojima before, so I know what you are talking about. Because I've sung in a choir where we sang the work Ojima Che Yojo. I cannot believe you wrote that with 3 other works in this less than a week. I'm sorry. I think people need to go online and go and listen to the song he's talking about, and that's just 1 out of 4. Well done, by the way. Well done. Let us talk about one. Well, all your songs, all your compositions are very famous and very popular. Sorry, they're very popular. But you composed something titled My Story. Can you tell us the story behind My Story?
On the 6th of December, 2003, I had an auto crash, terrible accident that was near fatal. I went to Makurdi on the 4th, yes, Thursday. I went to Makurdi to train a choir to get them ready for a competition for Saturday on the 6th. And I trained them between Thursday and Friday, and through Friday night to early morning. So we had the rehearsal that ended around 1:30 in the morning of Saturday morning. And the competition was on that same Saturday. But I was not to be with them because I had a wedding, an urgent wedding in Abuja that same Saturday morning at 9 a.m. So I decided to try to leave for Abuja. So by 4 a.m., I rested just for 2 hours. I left for Abuja around 4 a.m. By around 7 a.m., I was already in Lafia. And that was where nature took over. I slept off while driving. And then the car crashed into a big tree that almost went into somebody's house. They left the road and they stepped out, and it was a terrible thing. The car was smashed beyond repair, and they had to break pieces the car, the doors, before they could bring me out. And well, what happened was that from Lafia, I was taken to Abuja at the hospital where I was treated. Then I was lying there between December 2003, January 2004, January, February, March. By April, I was actually already out of bed, but I'm moving with wheelchair. One of my choristers came to visit me in the hospital and requested that I write a Thanksgiving song for her birthday. I told her that I wasn't in any mood to write Thanksgiving song. But after I told her, okay, I'll write a song for you. Then I'm going to use my experience to write for you. She said, no problem. I just need this sweet song. I know that anything, once you write it, it'll be okay. She said, okay. And I sat down and wrote that song. I wrote my story for her. And I started with my condition. When I remember what you've done for me. When I remember what you've done for me, my heart leaps for joy, for there is none like you. And then I went ahead in second verse to explain why this joy. And that joy, there was a time in life when I thought all was lost. Lord, I am a living testimony because the doctors had given up on me when I was broken. I was unconscious for 3 days. And nobody believed that I could be alive. Those who visited me at the hospital, everybody, they left the hospital crying because it was like a closed case. And then for me, I am a living testimony of God's love. A living testimony of your love. Then because why? You changed my story of woe to joy. And that's why I'm thanking him. And then in the third verse, I had to explain that even though I cannot walk, I still have some reason to thank God. Many cannot see, many cannot hear. I am blessed with this, even though I cannot walk. I can see, I can do nothing.
No, I
Many
get it.
have no food, many have. I know I have them. At least I have a place to lay my head. It's something to thank God. And that is the best. And in the last verse was like a proclamation. I will tell this story to all my friends. It's not ending here. I will tell it to my neighbors. I will sing for you. I will praise your name. And the very last verse was prophetic. I will dance for you, for there is none like you. I want you to know that I wrote this song that I will dance for God when I had no hope of even standing up. I was still there on the wheelchair, and I told God, I will dance for you. And today I can dance for God.
Okay.
That is my story.
Okay. Wow, that is really, really interesting. I'm glad you're all right. I'm glad you can dance. And that chorister is very lucky that that song was dedicated to her. So congratulations to her wherever she is. I'm glad you have explained verse 3 because some people might say that people are sick in the hospital and you are saying, oh, well, me, I'm fine. I have food, I can walk, I can see. But now that you have explained it, it's clearer. It's not that you are laughing at people and saying, oh, many cannot eat, but I can eat. Many cannot walk, but I can walk. Actually, you couldn't walk at that time. Oh, so, I think sometimes people need to hear the stories behind music before they judge or make judgments about songs. Do people pay you because you said the person came to you and said, write a song for me? Sorry if it's an uncomfortable question, but do people pay you when they come like that? Do they bring money or, what happens?
Yeah, there is what we call commission writing. commission compositions, like the ones when George Frederick Handel was alive. These are professional musicians, and they were actually commissioned to write songs. When they commission you to write a song, it means you are being paid to write a song. So there are songs we write because we are commissioned to write them. And there are songs you write because your spirit just say write. There are songs that come out of inspiration. You have to write them not because you have any financial gain, but because you want to, the Spirit of God in you say, I want this. I give you an example. Payback Time was written on the street as I was walking on the street. Payback Time. I believe that Jesus died for me. Father, to you we offer. I was walking on the street and suddenly I had this urge to write. I didn't know what to do. I had no paper with me. I had no Bible. But there was this stunt pencil, small pencil that I had in my pocket. And there was also a ticket because I actually traveled from Abuja to Enugu. That a ticket I collected from the park. That was all I had. I sat down the road at the nearest culvert, a culvert. People were passing, cars were moving. I sat there like a crazy boy. Sat down there, bent down, and was scribbling on that small paper, economizing the space to make sure that every word that was coming to me was there. I wrote that song. The entire 3 verses came straight. Like it wasn't up to 10 minutes. I wrote down everything as it was coming. Then, when I got home that same evening, I sat down on the table and developed it properly. And that's the song we used. So there's a difference between a song that inspires that through inspiration and the ones that was just commissioned. So that's how.
Okay. Out of all your compositions, do you have one that is your most preferred composition, the one you like the most?
I don't have any. I don't have any actually, and because each song, when I hear the choir sing a particular song, it takes me back to how it all came about, the place, and maybe reason why.
Okay.
So every song is.
Do you have one that you don't
is
like? Okay, every song is unique, but do you have one of your compositions? You like all of them?
I don't have it. I don't actually have a special song. Okay. And if I visit you, I will want actually to play what you will love. And each time I write or I begin to sing a song, I try to present them the best way I can so that I myself will also enjoy it.
Okay. When Pope John Paul visited Nigeria, I don't remember what year it was, Pope John Paul II, I beg your pardon. Okay, good. Thank you for reminding me. You conducted a choir in front of the Pope. How did that feel for you? What was the feeling like?
Actually, I didn't know what I would make out of it. When something is destined to happen, you can't stop it. I was invited to come to Abuja by the Archbishop of Abuja, who then was the president of the Catholic Bishops Conference of Nigeria. So he invited me to come and take care of the choir. It was a contract, actually. So it was a 3-month contract. So I was invited to come January, and the Pope was to visit on the 22nd of March. So by second week of January, I came into Abuja and then started to train. So I trained the choir. The request was to raise not less than 400 voices for the event. But I was lucky. When you have your name moving before you, you see, God has a way of planning these things. When I came to Abuja, everybody wanted to be part of that choir because the head, Jude Nnam, was to head the choir. So at the end of the day, we were able to present 1,000 voices. 1,000 voices. It was a mass choir, the largest I have ever conducted in my life, even till today.
I think it is the largest most people will ever conduct. 1,000 people. That's a lot. Were you nervous when you were conducting? How did it feel?
I was excited. It was the closest I've ever come to the Pope. So it was an opportunity to be in charge of a choir singing for the Pope. A mass being presided over by the Pope himself. Not everybody has that. I've ever had that opportunity. So I feel grateful to God, and I feel very happy that God himself has given me this grace and opportunity to experience this in my life. It was a joyful moment. Even the preparation was joyful. We were also very expectant, and we were all looking forward to it. It's an experience that each time I remember, I remain grateful to God for that opportunity.
Okay, let's talk about another opportunity that you recently had. Yamaha endorsed you as a Yamaha artist for keyboard products. And some of the instrumentals of your compositions are now in one of the Yamaha keyboards. How does that feel?
Actually, I felt humbled that out of music writers in Africa, it's actually in the entire Africa, not Nigeria, that Yamaha will have to choose someone like me. I was in Lagos attending a music program when I received a call from Dubai and was told that I was actually live in a meeting, that they were having a meeting and they needed to speak across to me and wanted to know how I feel, that they want to endorse me as a Yamaha ambassador for church music in Africa. So, and I asked them how many church music ambassadors they already have. The director actually said that this is the first time they are ever going out of their way to do something like this. And it is because of my popularity in church music composition, and they would want that they actually had an opinion poll, and my name came top, and that was why they wanted to reach out to me. And they have actually selected the songs that they want to infuse in their keyboard, so that all over the world, wherever these keyboards are bought, people can easily go to the demo section and then pick this song. They have never used church music in their demos. This is the first time they are trying out for church music, and first the first person they want to use happens to be me. So I had to program the songs and then write them out properly the way it should and send it over to them. And then I had to go to Dubai also to meet with them during the endorsement ceremony. And today it's all over the place. And there was some keyboards I bought for some choirs, and I saw all these things, all these features in there. It's something to be very grateful to God that in your lifetime you have some of these things happening. Most people get these things are actually not in their lifetime. People get to have their songs used when they are long dead. Maybe other people will now are the one who push them. But to be alive and see some of these things happening is a big grace that I would just say that God knows what He's doing. I don't know what good I have done to merit all this, but I'm still thankful to Him for that.
Okay. And how are you, by the way, in Abuja, especially talking about coronavirus? Are you okay where you are?
Yeah, we are okay here, but like you know, churches in Abuja here, we are not started rehearsing, and we stay at home. We are asked to stay at home, so we're staying at home. And on Sunday, we'll come together briefly before the Mass and arrange the choir, distancing, and, and then we sing together. What we do is to choose the very popular hymns that the church should be able to sing along. This is not the time to begin to learn new songs. It's time to pray and pray earnestly that this thing will pass us by. It's really a very terrible time for everybody. But the church is praying. And I know with all the efforts that the government is putting in place and all of us complying with the instructions, I believe that by God's grace, this thing will pass us by. In Jesus' name.
Okay, got it. Do you think, this is just an idea I thought about some time ago, do you think that it will be a good idea for choirs, for example, in Nigeria, that perform African composers' works to maybe collect some money from the churches or from the choristers to give to the composers as remuneration for their works? Just, I don't know, collect some money from each chorister every time they make a copy, because we copy a lot in Nigeria. We make photocopies. Some people publish books of other composers' works. Do you think it is time to start collecting something to give to the composers?
Yeah, I am that it is we have a copyright law in this country that does not work. And it's not just about the composers here. The performing musicians have problem with copyright. People like getting things without paying for them. And so we like free things.
No, wait. But somebody started the practice of giving the songs away for free and allowing people to copy for free. So maybe it's not the people that like things for free. Maybe they've been taught, the choirs have been taught to expect music for free.
Yeah, the practice has been that photocopying. If it's possible to stop photocopying songs and get songs direct from the composer with the express permission. Several times I have received letters and emails from choirs overseas, from choir directors overseas, asking me permission to perform my song in their church. Nobody can do that kind of thing in Nigeria. Do you understand? That's where the problem is. So people are actually, in some places, they know the right thing is to take permission from the writer. And so if okay, there was a particular group that actually paid, told me that they actually performed my song in a program, a concert, and they had so money paid onto them.
I think we've lost our composer. Just give us a few seconds. Give us a few seconds, please. Let us see if we can get him back. Thank you. Okay, so I've sent him some messages. Let us see what is going on. I really hope we can get our guest composer back. Just give us a few more seconds. Thank you. We're still trying to reconnect, please. Thank you for your patience. Expecting him back shortly, but let us see what happens. Thank you all. He is back. We're just trying to add him to the call. Let's see. Thank you all for your patience. Hello, Sir Jude. We cannot see your video. I think it's loading. Aha! There you are. Thank you. These things happen. Good. So you were talking about people in other parts of the world contacting you for permission to use your work and paying you for it. Oh, this video was paused again. Did you hear me? Hello? 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 Hello?
Network.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I don't think he can hear me. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Okay, let's continue. Okay, let's continue. We have a few more minutes. Let's continue, if we can. Okay. Do you have any advice for up and coming African composers?
Okay.
Do you have any advice for African composers, up and coming African composers? I don't think he can quite hear me. This is not good.
Yeah.
Okay.
My advice to upcoming African composers is that whatever happens, they should not forget their roots. I have met a lot of African composers who think that the only way to write is when you begin to write like an Oyibo man. And I am not comfortable with that line of thought. Yes, the Oyibo people came and they helped us to organize our music. But before the Oyibo man came, we have been here. Our parents, our forefathers have been practicing music. And our own style of music should not be thrown away because we want to be like Oyibo people. It is important that we also know that we have a root. And so in our composition, we should strive and do our best to have this input of African idioms, African musical style. We should also make sure that we are safeguarding our own heritage by making sure that in our compositions, we have some of these African musical style imbibed in our composition, so that in the other generations we have something to hand over to the other generation. If all of us begin to go classical, go Oyibo, begin to sing Western music or compose in Western musical style, what will happen to our heritage? So it's important that African composers should always look even though we want to compose with a Western musical style, our African idiomatic musical expressions must not be thrown apart, must be inherent in this composition, one way or the other, no matter how small. That is
Okay.
my advice.
Many composers, African composers, admire you and hold you in high esteem. Do you have any African composers that you admire? Can you name them also? Did you hear my question? Sir Jude, did you hear my question? Do you have any African composers that you admire? Okay. Do you have any African composers that you admire?
Network is breaking. I can't hear you.
Let me try one more time because we are almost at the end of the interview anyway. Do you have any African composers that you admire? Oh, I think he's gone. I think the network is really poor. Let us see. He wants to make some adjustments. Let's see. Okay, he's adjusting. I can see. I don't know if you can hear me. I can see him. I'm just asking if you have any African composers that you admire. He's making some adjustments. Let's see. Excuse me. We're back. Thank you for your patience, everybody who's joining us again. We have wound up the interview. Thank you. Are there any that you admire? Any African composers? Oh, have we lost him again? Are there any African composers that you admire, Sir Jude?
Yes. Early composers like and the Felix Moba, these are art musicians, Professor Danago. In fact, Professor Danago's composition was one of the first academic musician composition that really touched me. That's an art musician when he wrote Anambra State in the early 80s. And he happened to be one of my best. Sam Ojukwu also, Professor Sam Ojukwu was happened to be a very good composer too. In fact, some of his works, when I became aware of chords and movements in music, helped me a lot. So a lot of them. I actually built my knowledge of harmony and composition around so many composers, not just one or two. And because I like to listen to so many discussions, and but these ones were the early ones, the early composers that touched me, that helped me to fashion up my musical style. And I am very grateful to them because by looking at their works, I kept comparing notes and as I tried to, as I stumble along in our musical composition journey. So I want to say thank you to Professor Dan Ago. Dan Ago happens to be my supervisor also during my PhD when I did my thesis, and did so much to help fashion and criticize my work. It taught me so many things that I would ever be grateful to him.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sir Jude Nnam. Thank you for giving us of your time today. The interview has come to an end. Thank you to anybody who is going to watch this later as a recorded interview. I'm really, really grateful. I wish you success with your future works, and I hope we can keep in touch. Thank you. I'm sorry to everybody, but we have to cut it short because of technology issues and network-related issues. But thank you, and Sir Jude Nnam, thank you very much again. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.